cô chú. Khoảng 7 ngày trước, ba con có kêu con nói là hôm nay ba có làm một cái tiệc cho cùng celebrate cái ngày mà 50 năm của ba làm bác sĩ. Thành ra ba hỏi con nói vời lầu, vời vài lời. Thì con làm critical care thì mỗi ngày con không sợ từ đầu chết hết, mà ba hỏi cái này thì là con sợ. Thì chiều thì con muốn đổi qua tiếng Mỹ, tại vì nếu con nói tiếng Việt thì chắc không ai hiểu cái chỗ của con hết, thì không ai thích cười. Thì khi mà when my dad said that please say something about me being a doctor for 50 years, first thing I said was in my head, what's so special? Because you've always been a doctor. When I was born, you were a doctor, and you've always been a doctor. So what's so special about being 50 years in being a doctor? So then I thought about it a little more, and I thought about first in the dimension of time. What does it mean for 50 years? And I remember that I started looking back into medicine, and I looked back into what was medicine like 50 years ago. And at that time, there was no CAT scan, no MRI, no echogram, and to be a doctor, you have to know everything. Now I only know the lungs, but before, when you're a doctor, you have to know everything. So medicine has changed a great deal in that 50 years. And I think for someone to be able to practice medicine for an entire 50 years and to see the changes in medicine is quite incredible. So on the dimension of time, I think it's rare for someone to stay in their job for that long. From a personal standpoint, what does it mean for my dad to be a doctor? So when I was done with high school, and my dad one day woke me and my twin brother up and said, "You will be an engineer." And I said, "Okay, I'll be an engineer." And he said, "I want you to be an engineer because being a doctor is very hard. You can't see your family, and you're at home all day long. No, you're never home. You're never home." And I said, "Okay, I won't be a doctor because I didn't want to be a doctor, because all of my dad's friends who are doctors, they have to sing. And I didn't sing. So to be a doctor, you have to be singing Vietnamese song, and I don't sing Vietnamese song." So I went to school, and I studied engineering for 3 years. But I decided that engineering was not for me because it didn't give me the gratification that I think being a doctor would. That is to help people, to serve, and that was in my blood, I think, from my dad and my mom. And I knew it was so because once I started medicine, it was very easy for me. It was like second nature. So personally for me, my dad being a doctor helped me be the person I am today. Now, to put it in perspective, 50 years. Since I am now doing medicine for about 15 years now, I started seeing some other doctors, younger than me, who came up and said to me, "Wow, Andre, when I was in med school, you taught me." And that made me feel old. But last year, I met a person who came out of medicine, and he says, "Andre, your dad was my doctor." Right? So to think about it, it took me 32 years to become a doctor, and last year was somebody that my dad took care of when he was a baby, who's now a doctor. So 50 years is a very long time, a very, very long time. So the last thing about being a doctor for here is that I remember when we were just back here in 1979, and there was nothing in this area. Nothing, except two things I remember: Yan Pharmacy and our office over here. And for the community to have the ability to come back to America and have Vietnamese-speaking doctors, people that understand what they have, is very, very special. I know so because I don't speak Vietnamese very well, and whenever they ask me to translate to the patients in Vietnamese, I always mess it up because I don't understand the way to say it.